Sorry for the interruption, everyone. As I was saying, the second keyword that came out was the word young. And in regards to Beatrice, I had said that in the earlier part of her life is when she experienced a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, even health pain, and that was due to the men in her life or man in her life who had power over her. She felt powerless. And so when I pulled cards for the keyword of young, what came out was the devil. So this definitely has something to do with a relationship that she was in with a male, and specifically it would be like, you know how people say that you pick a person that's like your father. I feel like she experienced something, you know, she didn't have the best relationship with her father, and then she kind of ended up with a man who was like him, and she didn't have the best experience with him as well. In this relationship, there might have been some, I don't want to say exactly addictions, but maybe some materialism and tell me, Beatrice. Because of the amount of ego that was with both men, and you figure sometimes when people have egos and they have this power that they exert over other people, it's because they actually were traumatized as children and they had that done to them. So I feel like that's what she experienced, the root of somebody else's pain and suffering and trauma. And that may also be why with the Two of Swords that came out in reverse, it's like no matter what, because they were in mental conflict about what they did, about what they experienced, they put her in mental conflict. Hurt people, hurting people is simply that. And so, Beatrice, I'm sorry that you did this. The next keyword that came out was, it's hard to let go. And I feel like, again, as I said before, it's hard for her to let go or transition because of the trauma that she went through. That's what's hard. It's hard for her to transition because she went through all this pain and suffering. And it's like, in a sense of wanting that to be rectified and justified, maybe seeing this play out, you know, as a spirit in other people's lives. Maybe that's why, you know, she came to me. I will say sometimes, even though I am empowered and I feel like an empowered woman, sometimes I feel powerless in certain situations that I have knowingly and unknowingly put myself in. But let's see if we can get some cards on It's Hard to Let Go for Beatrice. What messages do you have for It's Hard to Let Go? But again, I do feel like it's like she wants it to be justified, rectified, what's happened to her. She wants to share it. She doesn't want other people to go through that, what she went through, especially women. Well, 4 cards came out, and we're going to stick with those 4 cards. The first one being the 3 of Pentacles. I feel like at the time things happen with, like, I think she, like, because I believe people here, of course, the 3 of Pentacles, I feel like she entered into a union, kind of maybe she was forced into a union in a sense. And it could have been, you know, for religious purposes, but I'm hearing it's like, it was all like put together behind the scenes or whatever. And so maybe she thought she was going to go into a union with some kind of hope. She tried to have some kind of hope about it. And in the end, with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, it's like she thought there were going to be positive changes. She thought, okay, like, you know, this is going to work out for me. This is going to go well for me. She felt welcome. She felt like I'm going to be able to finally build my own life, some kind of life. But in a sense, with the Three of Cups in reverse, that didn't happen. She ended up being actually more isolated. She ended up being a victim of like a I don't want to say like a scandal, because it's not. That's why it's hard for her to let go. What was supposed to happen didn't happen. The life that she thought she was going to build, that didn't happen. Instead, she ended up isolated, and it's hard to let that go. Those emotions and feelings of like a repeating cycle, but it's hard to let go sometimes of cycles like that. The last card that came out was the Seven of Swords in the upright. I think that her spirit, because I'm seeing like with this, of course, that could be tied to deceit and theft and spying. So I really think she also went through that as well, because people that exert their power over you, that's what they do. They literally, you know, they steal your energy, they steal your time. They watch over you, you know, they take from you. In having that power, they make you powerless. And it's literally like, and I say they steal your energy and your time by theft, because they have power over it. They take it. You don't have any power. It's not you. So you don't have it. It's not yours. So that's what I mean by, you know, the theft of that, of her energy and time. And that's what's hard to let go. Like, I truly feel like when people pass away, you want to pass away kind of knowing like, even if you made the small little difference, but you lived your life. Like you made decisions, you lived your life. And when you haven't done that, yeah, you're in a position where it's hard to let go, because you never got to do it in the first place. Like Beatrice. The next keyword that came out is 50 years. And like, I don't need any cards for that. But I mean, it says she's been there 50 years. And where her spirit came to me at was in the Redlands-Loma area. So 50 years ago, or she's been there 50 years, you know, she was there. And I will say, when I felt her spirit, I felt like, well, it was like, sit and listen to me. I want to tell you. So I said, you know, tell me. And the energy I picked up from it was, I'm trying to not only tell you, but I'm trying to warn you as well. I'm trying to warn you as well. And I think that's kind of crazy being told that, because again, that's what's playing out in the lives right now of women. We need to look at warnings from previous female fighters, you know, who fought for justice, who fought for equality and things like that. We need to embrace and take on their lessons, take on their lives in the sense of learning about what they did, the attitude and the spirit of that. Because as women, and you know, I don't have anything against men, I'm not like sexist or anything like that, but I mean, we have to be real right now. As women, our lives are in jeopardy. Our health is in jeopardy. Our decision making about our own lives and about our health is in jeopardy. even if it's not here in California, in a lot of ways it is here in California. If it's going on in other states and everything, it affects us all. It affects us all, because what you could wake up one day, you know, living here in California, and that same thing be taken away from you that's going on in Texas, that's going on in the South and everything, you know, as in regards to abortions and stuff like that. So we need to take lessons and learn from the spirits of women that felt powerless, so we can be empowered, you know, to make our decisions and, you know, to really embrace the freedom that we have and really keep it as ours, keep it as our own, making those voting decisions, standing up for our rights. We really need to do that, because you don't want to be a spirit like Beatrice, no offense, Miss Beatrice, where it's hard to let go because people have power over you and they cost you, you know, so much harm and pain, health-wise, mentally, emotionally, and physically for such a long time. And that's why she's here. I have a feeling I'm not the only woman she's probably talked to or connected with. It's probably been like other women who may have felt powerless, or just to connect with them to tell the story, and maybe I'm just the one doing it. But I'm happy to do it. I'm thankful to do it, because I'm learning something from it as I'm, you know, connecting with her, as I'm pulling these cards on her story, on these keywords she gave me. I'm learning something from it. And 50 years is a very long time to not be able to have let go of something, or to be that traumatized. 50 years is a long time. I'm hearing pull from my deck, so I'm going to do that, and we'll see if we can get some more insight into those 50 years, maybe how it's been, what she went, you know, what she went through, something like that. It's like I kind of want to cry about it. I don't want to get so emotional in these readings, but can't help it. All right, let's go. Please, Spirit, Beatrice, give me a card representing your 50 years, the 50 years. If there's anything from my deck that can talk about the 50 years that you went through, the keyword or something besides the 50 years. Okay. Very mature adult. I swear what card flipped around. Ancestors, archangels, and angels. Family bad. I think that's it. During these 50 years, despite all of